So, here we are in our first version of Slendytubbies. I would just like to introduce you guys to this carrot right here. Now, it's the best part of this game, the carrot. And you can see there's a couple of differences already. Flashlight is a little different. Click on a custard to pick it up. Hold on, I'm just gonna pretty much just tell you guys the differences between here. Yeah, the trees are a little... they're just a little more brighter, and the grass is very oddly placed. They're very randomized. So this was found in a Touch of Death forums, which was where the game was first talked about. Uploaded on November 12 of 2012. And yeah, I don't know if you can find that now, but that's practically where someone managed to find the earliest known version of Slendytubbies. This is version 0.5. So this is the cave. There's sand in there for some reason, and it's simple. It's very simple looking. That fucking pop-up, I swear. I know there's a cursor right there, but this is actually a re-recording. Because last time I tried recording this, I forgot to turn on my microphone, so it was just mute, and you could just only hear the game itself. So this is about to be a slow run here, because you can't run, you can't crouch, you can only jump, but it doesn't serve much of a purpose, really. Well, jumping can have some purposes, but really not right now. The grass texture here is a lot different. Very, almost pretty cartoony. I think you guys also noticed, but the pop-up sound plays when you collect these custards. We have 4 custards now. So you guys might be hearing something windy right now if you just listen closely. Yeah, apparently the wind sound effect is coming from this tree right here. Yeah, a little weird. It could have been like the original ambience, but then just end up as like an extra audio. The house was supposed to also have this grass texture, and only one part of it had like the actual texture right here. So there is no beds. There's a tree there, and Nunu isn't here either. It's just Dipsy. Just Dipsy. There's another custard. It is just so weird seeing this dome without beds. This is like the first time you see the Tubbytronic Superdome without any furniture. The second version would be, I think it would be Slendytubbies Worlds. You see, that's the beauty of game development. So here's Poe. No, she's still all hung up. She's still, you know, hanging around. Yeah, I should really stop making jokes about that. There's also no title screen. You just kind of get sent to the game the second you boot it up and go through that Unity configuration thing. There's no map either. You just have to like figure out where you're going. Yeah, this is where the voice trumpets are supposed to be. So yeah, right here it's just one big voice trumpet instead of just 2 regular sized ones. It would be pretty weird. It would actually be pretty weird if the announcer had that big of a head. In fact, the question I'm wondering is, how does the announcer like be underground and have its head pop out? Like, I'm actually curious, like once it goes back in, like how does it do it? Just make a hole or something? I don't know. A lot of unquestioned things about Slendytubbies that needs to be answered. This tree is a lot more bigger and it's more tilted to the side, and what it would later be in the next versions. I don't know what version it gets fixed like that. There's just grass all over the beach. And Lala looks much bigger here. I think that applies to all the Teletubbies. They look much bigger in the alpha. Either because our player character is so small. Okay, I think this is where we meet Tinky Winky, so just be careful. Oh, I see him. You see how his face is normal? Yeah, but you saw right there his face was normal, and then when he starts screaming and shaking around, you can see his face changes. It's pretty weird. If those 3 test subjects were in Teletubby Land, does that mean that they made 3 beds? But then once they all escaped and then the main quartet came in, did they have to like make 1 new bed, or was there like a 4th member of the trio but they just never were included? Or was one of them a part of the main quartet and the trio ended up being replaced? Okay, so here's the last custard, in which we get into another detail here. Yeah, there is no windscreen, or you don't get them back. You're just still kind of stuck in this world. No custards to collect. Still got Tinky Winky out there. Look at this dumbass. Thinking he's funny, so... So, this is version 1, I believe, version 1 alpha. The grass has been fixed a lot, and we're introduced to daytime, which is now called morning in this version. Yeah, this is also my 3rd attempt recording this, because on the first attempt I couldn't even get my lines right. In the second attempt I forgot to turn on my microphone yet again. Now that it's daytime and you're able to see a little better, you can notice that there are no mountains here, where there normally should be. Well, except for the behind, in which there are caves and mountains there, or well, only 1 cave. And this is where I wanted to make a theory about the development of Slendytubbies, but I just couldn't get that line right because I kept on screwing it up because I didn't know how I was gonna say it. But it was something about me asking, how much would the story of Slendytubbies campaign change if there were never mountains? Hold on. If there were no mountains in mainland, instead it was just a bunch of large hills. It would feel more like the show, but the other thing is that the Teletubbies wouldn't feel much like hamsters in a cage. So it's that, and as I haven't seen that before. There's like a cube floating. There's just a floating cube up there. I wonder why is that there? I wonder if we can. I know there's a barrier. Oh god. I only saw like a glimpse of Tinky Winky and that scared me. Yeah, there's now flashlight sounds, which is good. I do not want to be going to the cave because when you go into the cave, you need to like walk out of it, which literally involves doing a 180 and then walking out of there. It's gonna be hard to pull off with a Teletubby right there. He'd be right in front of me. So we're gonna go over here. And do we have the map? We have the map. And yeah, the voice trumpet smoke is not affected by the fog. You could see it from all the way from spawn. So that's a little odd. Oh yeah, I also just realized these pop-ups don't have sound. They're just silent. That's before they use the custard collect sound in this version. So for like a specific time there were no sounds for picking up the custard. And then they just added in like a dramatic string sound effect. So this version was first found with an image that was uploaded to a website, which at the time was the only piece of media of this version. But ZeoWorks, being the absolute chads, they decided to release pretty much all the versions that were available of the game. There's still that tree that makes the wind sound, and the carrot right next to it. It's only this carrot. Like in the earlier version there was a carrot right behind the spawn, but that wasn't there when I checked. And the house now has the beds and the Nunu. He spins a little differently in this version. The beds are more separated from each other. Almost bed is still the one unfortunately set on fire for some reason. I don't know where Tinky Winky is. I don't even want to know. The mouse is pretty off-centered at the moment. This is going to be a boring run, but I think the next version I'm playing will have running as a mechanic. So I think I might be able to breeze my way through the next run. And then the last custard is at the cave, which should still look like what it did in the previous version. Yeah, we still don't have a body. We didn't have that in version 1 either. Like there was no white tubby, we were just some random guy. Our last custard. So, on to the next build. This is our next version of Slendytubbies, which has a lot of changes. We already have now running, new flashlight, and now you only need to walk on the custards to pick them up. So this is gonna be a pretty quick run here. You can also see that the grass has changed texture to its final form. So this is the multiplayer test version, where there is quite some changes that would become the final version of Slendytubbies. The cave is a lot weirder in this version. It's much bigger. It pretty much looks like the final version of Nighttime, so nothing much of a difference. No sound for picking up the custards. That sound got replaced with the pop-ups. I know there's like a key difference, and that has something to do with the house. So once we come to the house here, which should be noted here. So we first go into it, and the Nunu is great. He's spinning like he should. Dipsy's not in the house. And the beds are bigger and closer to each other. So let's get that custard. Ooh, yeah. And then the voice trumpets. There's no voice trumpets here. So it's kind of missing a couple of things from the previous and the next version, and the map is not here for some reason. There's no crouching either, and the grass texture is much bigger. Lala isn't here either. Okay, so I've picked up all the custards now. I think Tinky... Oh, we'll wait a bit. Wait a minute, where is he? Strange. I think he might have disappeared because I collected all custards, or he's just slow, but through some videos of this version, this was the first version that removed Tinky Winky's face change feature. He doesn't have it in this version. It's just gone. And yeah, if we can go long out here. Oh. Oh. You can fall through the map in this game. Yeah, but anyways, what I was gonna say was this was the first version where Tinky Winky's face change feature was completely removed, and now he just has that white face for the rest of the round. So onto the versus version. Oh yeah, this is the first version where we see the white tubby, the debut of our lovely white tubby. We actually did have a build that I almost forgot, but this is the multiplayer test, but you play as Tinky Winky in this game. So one notable difference in this game is that you move a lot more slower. There is no running, no crouching, no map, you know, all that. You do still jump very high, and you can see the map a little more clearer. As I was talking about earlier, there's only mountains on that side, while on the other sides are completely mountainless, and I mean, there's nothing much to talk about here. I think the moon is blue in this version, I think, from the shading. It's pretty hard to tell because everything is red, except for the dead trees when they're not rendered in 3D, because then they're brown, like normal. And that smoke over there, it's also just completely unrendered. Oh, we can see the voice trumpet. I don't know if anyone did test versus in this version, but it would be pretty cool if there actually was footage. So, can you like collect custards? I don't think you can collect custards. I think in one version there is a goof where you can actually collect the custards as Tinky Winky. I think there's also... Wait, do I move slower if I look on the ground, but then I look forward? I'm quicker. Oh, another thing that isn't red, the ocean is normal, and you can even see the tree rendered as 2D, and it's clipping through the other leaves. So yeah, nothing much interesting here. It's kind of like a explore the place when it's red. So there's really nothing much to add here. Yeah, so the cave here looks more like the final version. They did update the cave in this version. I don't know why they didn't do it for the other multiplayer version. But yeah, there's really much nothing to explore here, so let's just get to the next version. Our next version is the all recognizable actual version 1 of our game. So you can see that there are more mountains now. You can crouch, the map is back. I don't know what else is different in this version. Oh yeah, the new skybox. And dusk as well. I think there was a version of Slendytubbies that we only get to see in the trailer where it was like, it was an early dusk that had the alpha map. And yeah, I don't know if it's this version or the previous version where that black frame for when Tinky Winky looks at you first appears. I mean, if we do see Tinky Winky, we could give it a try. He's gonna be loud though. Normally he comes out like here. I know that most of the times in my runs, he usually kind of like comes up here when you're taking this specific route, but we can go find him once we exit the house. So 5. You can clip through that window now. Only you couldn't do that earlier. And oh yeah, the doors there. I did forget about them. I mean, Tinky Winky should appear here. Then I go close to him. Okay, I'm just gonna say that yes, the black borders are there. I don't know if it was in the earlier version because I didn't check, but I don't want to shit myself. Still dead as ever. Last custard. Tinky Winky comes up to me. This is the first version where we are introduced to the winning screen, where we can see ourselves, the white tubby, and all the custards, and even a little misspell right here, but you know, typical old school Zeo works. You can check out Dusk as well. So Dusk is a little bit more different than in version V2. Here the fog is much darker. And I think nighttime still has like the completely pitch black skybox, as it normally does. Because in beta V2 you would be able to see stars and everything. Which actually, it makes the game a little less scarier. You know, I kind of prefer it being more scary with no stars, like it's just pitch black. But let's not talk about that, that's just a waste of time. Let's just get this run finished with. Easy run. I'm unstoppable. So this is version beta V2. It's by far the most recognizable version of this game. You can see that there's a intermission thing here. You just press E to start the game, and we're also introduced to falling trees. So we got that, and there's now a new sound for collecting custards. And I think that's about like it. Nothing much. Oh yeah, Lava does her jump scare thing as well. I'm mostly just trying to encourage myself, and you know. Oh yeah, that's a new pop-up. Yeah, there's no flying tree here. Oh well, the wind tree anymore. But yeah, the house doesn't have the doors anymore. So yeah, the house doors, they're just not there. They've been completely wiped out because you open them when you start the game. There's the pro tree. Let's just skip to where I come up to Lava. Oh yeah, this tree also became more smaller. I don't know what update they did it, I probably have to recheck it. Okay, at the beach. He's looking at me like that. Whoa! Oh, that kind of scared me. This is our final version of the game. Version 2.5, which we could only find a Spanish version of it. So let's just start it off. So the first thing you may notice is that the legs don't move when you're just standing, they only move when you walk or run. Which makes sense, obviously. Back then the legs were constantly moving around. I also have a bit of a cold at the time I'm recording this. And also my next video is going to be about that one boss fight in Gorilla Tag and me beating it. Yeah, I'm leaking the whole thing for you here. I think I read on the wiki that there was like a malware coded version of this game in 2013. But it isn't archived and no one knows where it went. I did see like 2 videos of it, though both of them were just ARGs. They looked very creepy though, I gotta admit. And also when I was recording this earlier and I forgot to turn on the microphone, I somewhat learned that Tinky Winky can actually trigger Lala's jump scare too. So you can actually make Lala jump scare you 2 times. The one time is when you do it and the other time is when Tinky Winky does it, and God, I was so scared. I was making a comment earlier about that Lala looked a little different because her head wasn't the same here. And Tinky Winky would then come over. I didn't trigger it. Okay, that's a bit weird. So, the other change, there's only 2 changes in this version. The second is the versus has been removed. And that's like it. See you guys next video. Have a good day. Bye.